potentially missing from this. Was the driver originally slated to start from 11th position? Either way, they're all in position. I think they're about ready to go. And they are racing their way. Oh, that's a really poor start from Max Watt from second position. Could not get the car started. For Matt Goff, though, great launch down into turn one as the rest of the pack will all be battling from second on backwards. It's a great start from Matt Goff as Max Watt has been swallowed by the rest of the field as we race our way down towards the Maggots sequence and then flick it through the right-hander. Bertie Breams works well into second position, I believe, starting from fourth. Getting a good launch onto the grid and then straight down the inside by the time they got their way through turn one. I believe Max Watts dropped back into fifth position as there goes the number 99 off the road, Graham Hurd. Straight out wide, clipping a little bit of the grass and gravel as well before returning onto the racetrack. Bit of a flash of the lights coming in there from Bertie Bream up to our race leader Matt Goff, who's obviously going to try and find a way through Brooklands where the grip is minimal to say the least. Got the number 13 here there, Brendan Hafner, who started this race from third position, trying to go around the outside, trying to fend off Max Watt, who's trying to work his way back up after that poor start. A bit of a slide and a big one indeed there for Perry Darling, just trying to get that car sorted and pointing in the right direction, but a big kick of oversteer off the corner. Wow, look at that as a moment there for Max Watt, pushing it through Woodcote. You don't see too many times people going sideways with a bit of a slide going through Woodcote, but certainly the number 23 of Max Watt was pushing the car to the limits, going out wide. And speaking of moments, that is your race leader, Matt Goff, who's had a huge moment. And is there damage on the front left of that car? Is that what has happened there? There is a number 20 round either way. We'll come back to that in a moment. Faye Noble-Evans backwards at the first corner as well. But yeah, Matt Goff in the 46. I don't know if there's damage. It's quite hard to tell from this angle. It kind of just looked like how the car was crawling to a stop. There might have been damage on the front left, but there was no smoke, no nothing. I think that car is relatively fine. But my goodness, drama already. Yeah, Faye Noble-Evans round, Matt Goff off the road, and it is still stationary there at the moment, which does pass over the race lead then to Bertie Bream. Ben Grucock up now into second position in the number 86, so already making some solid progress. And there at the moment is the number 27, Barrington Darcy. That is pretty much a commentator's curse if ever I've seen it. Ben Grucock straight into the barrier. I don't believe in the commentator's curse, but that is up there. Big slide out through the penultimate corner at Luffield and into the barrier ever so slightly there goes Ben Grucock. That's such a shame for him. At the moment, though, it's now Hafner who's into second position, with Watt, who's now found himself straight back up into third after starting from the front row of the grid. Barrington Darcy in that white, blue and red car, the very distinctive livery. I believe that might have been one of the cars that might have been off in the gravel trap that I was seeing and talking about in qualifying. Just a little bit of a slide, I believe, but regardless, that car seems fine now, so it's driving on strong. Bit of a battle for second position as Faye Noble-Evans works her way back into the basically towards the pits and towards the team. Big slide there in the background from Thompson, trying to find the grip going down into Brooklands. This is what we were saying about. There goes the big slide from Watt. Not been too scared of the throttle pedal. Might have needed to be, as the spin puts them backwards at Luffield and now in a very dangerous and precarious position. Obviously there's clear line of sight from all those cars coming round, so it won't be too bad. It's not a blind corner. At least there is that. That'll be the only positive from that spin. Bit of a shame there for Watt, who's gone backwards there. And there's the big slide coming in from the number 13 of Hafner, having a bit of a moment coming down at the Copse, opening up the door for Barrington Darcy to potentially come through as they head through Copse at turn one. Darcy with the run down the inside as they head their way slightly down the hill then into Maggots before they flick right and then back out onto the Wellington straight. There's your race leader Bream, and this is how clear they are. 5 seconds ahead of this battle for second position that now sees Barrington Darcy up into that second spot with the number 13 of Brendan Hafner dropping down into third. You've got Perry Darling at the moment currently running in fourth position. But yeah, this is This has been a crazy start to the race and a crazy start to the season, which is expected with the conditions. You can kind of see some of the rain has let up a little bit. It's not coming down quite as hard as it was 5 minutes ago at the start of the race, but that doesn't make it any easier trying to navigate this car. Just show how difficult it is to get around Silverstone in these cars, trying to find the grip wherever it is. And unfortunately for quite a few of them, they have had certain struggles. Your likes of Faye Noble Evans and of course Watt as well, having a bit of a moment. Ben Grucock, who I believe, by the way, is still going in this race in the number 86, that very bright green car. So I believe the damage might be relatively minimal for Ben Grucock's car as he's back running around. Certainly the car is not where it was on the exit of Luffield just before Woodcote, so maybe there's some positives, but it did take quite a big whack. In fact, I think that green car in the background there, I believe that might have been Ben Grucock. He's already up to 16th position, by the way, so certainly is back out on the circuit and certainly is trying to work their way up the order. At the moment, we've got the number 18 on our screen. That's Nolan just behind Bridges at the moment, the number 38 car. This is a battle for 12th position overall in this race. And there's been another moment here, as I believe that is the 96 of Charlie Dye, who's had a bit of a moment there going into Brooklands. Into Maggots. I believe Dye was running in 20th position, so was already a couple of laps down by this point. So I believe it's just more of a problem for him. And so Dye stationary there and I think rolling now. But yeah, bit of a shame there. Obviously there was the battle for 12th position at the moment, so Bridges just ahead of Nolan. That is what we're looking at now. It's Bridges in the number 38 car there, currently holding on to 12th position ahead of Nolan. The race lead at the moment is Bream, then it's Darcy, then Hafner, then Darling, then Thompson in the top 5, with Warner, Mason, then Watt has dropped back down into 8th position. Then of course it's Hurd, and then Andrew will be in as Paul Andrew, who's the moment running in 10th position. You can see there on the left hand side of your screen is Perry Darling, who has the fastest lap of the race. Here comes Ben Grucock then down the inside, trying to find their way up the order at the moment, with a big look down the inside on the number 3 of Matthew Shears, but does manage to clear the 71 of Simon Dye. So that was actually a switch position, a double switch position. Simon Dye's lost 2 spots in a couple of corners because Simon Dye was running in 15th position. Shears got through and is now running in 15th, and Ben Grucock is now running in 16th position. So Dye dropping all the way back now to 17th position, as Ben Grucock now right on the rear end of Matthew Shears, and of course the fight Horvath as well in there as well at the moment, running a couple of positions ahead of all of that. This is back up the order though to the battle for 2nd position. Barrington Darcy has been battling out with Hafner, and Hafner's on the inside run as they head their way down into Copse. Big moment there from Hafner. And Barrington Darcy up now into, or rather holding, really, 2nd position. The two of those switching a couple of times, and they're being caught quite comfortably by the 81 of Perry Darling. So you do wonder if the battle for 2nd position might grow. Somewhere the battle is not growing for the race lead. Fastest lap obviously coming in fairly recently from Bertie Bream, who's currently running 7.5 seconds clear of the rest of the field. Not even 10 minutes complete in this race, and that's how dominant the number 8 car has been thus far. Hafner trying to hold on at the moment, as we'll have the move to the inside from the 81 of Darcy, and that'll be up into 3rd position now for Perry Darling. Barrington Darcy running now in 2nd position, but Darling working his way down the inside on Hafner and up now into 3rd position. So a solid move there in very tricky conditions, and obviously you've got to be careful when you're looking down the inside, especially coming down in the Brooklands, to make sure that you're not over braking it. And now I think, to be fair, I think we might see Darling come straight through on Barrington Darcy, and indeed doing so. The number 81 getting a great drive there off of Luffield, going from 4th to 2nd in a matter of a couple of corners, going out of Brooklands, round Luffield, round Woodcote, round Copse, and straight through into 2nd position. Looked relatively easy for Darling, who's actually just set the fastest lap of the race. That was only a 10th quicker than our race leader, but more importantly, it was over a second faster than the 2 cars that Perry Darling's just passed. So Again, that's showing the pace of the number 81 car at the moment that currently runs in that second spot, and I wonder if now there might be a little bit more pace being found by Barrington Darcy, seeing where the lines are, seeing what Perry Darling's been doing to try and keep that car fast. Someone who's not going quick, that number 13, Hafner, out a little bit wide as they work their way through Brooklands, effectively the third to last corner, if you really want to call it that. And I'd say in these conditions, definitely so, because you've got Luffield and then you've got Woodcote, which normally, don't really think about it, you just go flat through here. Some of the moments that we've been seeing by the likes of Watt earlier on in the race, it is a bit of a corner today in these conditions, going through that final one at Woodcote. So yeah, there's a lot for them to worry about at the moment. That lap not quite as good from Perry Darling, a 1 minute 14.3. That was 7/10 slower than your race leader. It was a personal best though by Barrington Darcy, who's now starting to feel the pressure for third position from Hafner behind. Bit of lap traffic for them to deal with as well. The number 64 of David Hussey is the next one for them to pass. Obviously running down in 19th position, already a lap down comfortably on your race leader, who's nearly 10 seconds clear. That red and white car there is Hussey, and I believe that hopefully he'll jump out of the way and won't cause too much of an issue in this excellent battle for second position. Still though, it is Bream leading, 10 minutes complete in the race when he completed the lap last time by, so we're approaching half distance, and it is a dominant performance in the opening round of the 2025 season, and at the moment it's all eyes on this battle for second place. There is the 64 of Hussey going a lap down on this group, so Perry Darling getting through second position at the moment. Barrington Darcy having a little bit of a look down the inside into the first corner. Can't quite find any option to work their way through, although I will say out wide goes Perry Darling, and it could open up the opportunity by the time, less so down into Beckett's, into Maggott's rather, more so down by the time we get into Brooklands. We work our way through Magson, basically it kind of counts as being a bit of Beckett's there, but as they work their way through the right-hander and then out onto the Wellington Straight, really the form man in this group is definitely that of Perry Darling, but it seems as though as soon as he's got through into second position, Barrington Darcy has stepped up the pace somewhat and is now trying to go on the attack, although there's a bit of a mistake there from the driver running in second position. Perry Darling's gone out wide, clipped a little bit of that, of the water that's kind of just sat there in the braking zone as they get their way down into Brooklands, and there's the switch for second position. So Barrington Darcy back up into second position, Perry Darling back down into third, and Hafner currently having to settle for fourth position. They are comfortably clear, by the way, of anyone else joining this fight, because at the moment it's the number 6 of Mike Thompson, who currently runs in fifth position, but is about 10 seconds behind this group here in the battle for second spot. So the gap between the race lead and this group is basically the same as the gap between this group and anyone else in this race. So they've basically got carte blanche to do what they want when it comes to attacking each other, only focused on each other, a little bit of a three-way fight. Certainly not going to be boring for them over the next 12 minutes, as again it's about minimising mistakes, which is where we did have Perry Darling on the previous lap make that costly mistake going down into Brooklands to allow Barrington Darcy to come through. And I wonder if now, having kind of seen the line a little bit there from Perry Darling, if Barrington Darcy can maybe use that knowledge to go on the attack. They are clipping that bit of water. You can go, to be fair, it's one of those ones, it's really obvious from this, from the angle there looking down the Wellington Straight as to where that water is. When you're in the car, certainly it is much less obvious as to where that standing water is. So yeah, they'll have to be a little bit nervy of it. Oh, here comes a bit of a spin though, as Barrington Darcy out wide, coming through the final corner really at Luffield and going for a bit of a spin. That'll be very frustrating from Barrington Darcy after showing some excellent speed. An excellent battle for the podium will come to a close for them, as now second and third will be comfortably clear. And you can see there a bit of a flash of the lights. That is from that wasn't rather from Thompson. I was going to say it was from Thompson, but no, Thompson I think might have already come through. Well, actually, no, I'm just seeing some issues on my time. Don't worry about it. I think it would be Thompson who sat now behind Barrington Darcy, trying to work their way through the lapped traffic at the moment of Hussey. So Barrington Darcy is still running in 4th position, yes, but is only a second or so clear of Thompson, of Watson, of Mason, and the group that will be chasing them down. There's the number 23 of Watt, and of course, after qualifying so well, did Max Watt. Bit of a struggle right from the off in the race. Did not get the race start done well at all. And now trying to find some speed to go on the attack. There is Mike Thompson directly heading that black and red car, the one that was flashing the lights. They were trying to work their way through the back marker of Hussey. And this is the battle for 5th position technically, but realistically, if they work together, it could be the battle for 4th if they're able to catch up to Barrington Darcy. Less than 10 minutes left to go. And it's an 11-second lead for Bream at the moment, ahead of Perry Darling and Hafner, 2nd and 3rd position at the moment on the road. Then we've got Thompson, and then we've got this battle all in here. So this is Thompson in 5th position, then Watt. Mason is only a second and a bit off, and also has Warner in tow. So technically there's 4 cars in this group. I know you can only really see 2. There's a little bit of a gap back, and then there's 2 further cars. Bam, there we go, straight through on the left-hand side of your screen. That is the battle effectively in its entirety for 5th position. There's 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th in this group. And this is what I mean, is that you make one little mistake there like we saw from Watt, and it'll open up the opportunity. What has happened to Hafner? 3rd position in the race, and his Boxster has come to a stop. That is very interesting. It's opened up the podium battle, because now Barrington Darcy has been promoted back up into 3rd position, which means that this group of drivers could potentially chase down a podium finish if they play their cards right over the next 8 minutes and 30 seconds. But what on earth has happened to Hafner after showing some really good speed? There's not going to be the good result to go with it, I'm afraid. Straight down the order he's going to go, and there'll be no points scored. I wonder, this is the thing, it's tricky out there, it's wet out there. As much as you wouldn't say it's moisture related as to where these technical issues are coming, but you go out wide, you can obviously have a bit of a slide as you correct it. It can cause a bit of a snap, and those snaps can genuinely break stuff if you're not careful. They're not built to, they're not really built to be going completely sideways. So there's a fine line. And what was an excellent battle for the podium, I'm sure Perry Darling sat there being like, oh great, this is perfect. We're getting a nice little cruise to the checkered flag now. In 2nd position, 11 seconds behind your race leader. I think the podium now is basically set unless technical issues. You've got Bream leading, you've got Darling there in 2nd, and you've got Barrington Darcy in 3rd. And even Barrington Darcy is 4.5 seconds clear of this battle now for 4th position as the rain starts to get a little bit heavier here at Silverstone. There's the moment from Thompson going out wide, allowing the door potentially to be open for Max Watt, but can't quite find his way through. At the moment, Mike Thompson is hanging on to that 4th position, but you kind of wonder for how much longer, as the number 23 rather, of Max Watt is knocking at the door, potentially trying to come through. You've got the 68 of Martin Mason in there as well. There come through, looks straight around the outside, had superior grip, better drive off of Luffield, and straight around the outside goes Watt, then up into 4th position. And he's saying, what about that? As there is a moment, I was saying there might be more technical issues here. I think that's more of a spin. Barrington Darcy has been round once again. As the rain is getting heavier and heavier, I'm sure that must have been a bit of a slide and a bit of a spin for Barrington Darcy down into turn 1. And that is a bit of a shame, and it's now promoted this group up onto the podium. So Max Watts had quite an interesting race. Poor start to the race, dropped back down the order, worked back up the order, had a bit of a spin at Luffield, dropped back down the order, worked way back up the order, and is now in a podium spot. How wild is that? There is the number 99 of Graham Hurd, who's hearing about a big battle up ahead that he'd want to close in on, and he's certainly trying to do so. There comes the inside look from Mason, firing it down the inside. Barrington Darcy straight into the mix and back around the outside of Brooklyn. That's going to be too deep though for Barrington Darcy, I'm sure, but it might just mean that the move is complete on Watson before they get under the brakes and the little jab as they head their way into Luffield. Good stuff from the number 27 of Barrington Darcy to get his way back past Mike Thompson and up into now what I think is 5th position. So hard to follow in all that with all the position switches that's happened over the previous lap, but I believe it will be 5th place now for Barrington Darcy, who's not holding back when it comes to pushing the car to its absolute limits around here, sliding all over the place. Big slide coming through Woodcote, big slide coming into Copse once again from Barrington Darcy, and now staring at the back of Mason as well. So Martin Mason might be feeling the full wrath of the silver, red and blue. There's a look to the inside. That door's going to be shut from Mason, but he's going to go out wide courtesy of it. And there goes Barrington Darcy straight back down the inside and back into 4th position. 5 minutes still left to go in this race. We are not done with telling stories. There's still plenty left to go in this one. That was a solid move from Barrington Darcy. Just looked down the inside and effectively asked the question about the mistake. And Martin Mason, well, he answered the question with a mistake, because Barrington Darcy around the outside holding on to what is 4th position now in that battle through Brooklands, and I'm sure has the pace to check out from this group, at least based on what we've seen earlier on in this race. There is the 68 of Martin Mason now, with Thompson directly behind, and Mike Thompson might find some form of route through should there be any more mistakes, and as the rain's getting heavier, certainly those mistakes will be opening up. They do have Stuart Warner as well, just at the rear of this fight, kind of closing in, kind of knocking at the door, and then not too far behind is of course Graham Hurd, who did have a moment about 21 minutes ago, because it was right at the start of the race, coming down into this section here, did Graham Hurd in that 99 car, going out wide at this point here, and I think even clipping a little bit of the gravel on the outside, just about there on the right hand side. I think he went out that far wide, did the number 99 that you can see there in the background, the red and yellow car that's closing its way back in. The 51 though of Stuart Warner is now knocking at the door in the battle for 6th position, straight to the outside. They're going to go down into Brooklands corner, but I think the straight line speed, a good drive off the corner, is we've got a spin for the number 60. That's Tony Levy. He's had a bit of a spin down into I said Brooklands again, into Maggots. I know what I mean. I've got to say, we've had a lot of spins in this race. It makes sense. These are rear-wheel drive cars. They're tricky, they're light, they're small, they're low to the ground. As soon as you hit puddles in them, they can aquaplane, they can slide around, they can get pushed around by the conditions. And in the opening 22 minutes of the 2025 Boxster Cup, we've had plenty of drama. There is the number 23 in the battle for the podium between the 23 of Watt and the 27 of Darcy. To be fair, Martin Mason's not too far behind. Any mistake from this group, the door will be open for a move, I'm sure. We probably have about 3 laps left to go. I don't know how acutely aware of that they'll be inside the cars, where they'll get a warning as to when we head on to the final lap of the race, when the checkered flag's out. I always got told that if you're racing at this kind of level, any club level, where you've not got any data to help you, there's no race engineers that will pass on any information or anything. You drive until you see the checkered flag, and that is exactly what Bream is doing right at the front of the field, dominating this race. Is so far clear of the rest of the field, about 15 seconds ahead of Perry Darling at the moment. There's the battle for 3rd position, and there is the switch. So Barrington Darcy has got through on Max Watt and is now running in 3rd position. Very up and down race for Barrington Darcy. I think there's been a couple of spins in there, and still a couple of spins to come up into 3rd position onto the podium, which will be a very sweet podium indeed. Not quite as heavy as the conditions back at, what was it, the 2008 British Grand Prix, when Felipe Massa was struggling with the conditions out here. Not quite that heavy, but still they're having some big struggles, as Massa did back on that day. 33 seconds though off the race lead for Barrington Darcy, who's had such good speed in this race, just hasn't had the consistency to back it up. But again, I kind of wonder how much of a cruise mode Bream's in right at the front of the field, just looking comfortable, sitting pretty at the top. And with 90 seconds left to go in the race, probably starting the penultimate lap of the race pretty soon, being able to pull clear of the rest of the field. Might even be heading on to the final lap of the race. Actually, it's 1 minute 13 seconds to get around here, so I believe we'll be heading on to the last lap now, just about, but yes indeed. So starting the last lap then in the Porsche Boxster Cup, Bream is leading comfortably. There is a look down the inside from Mason on Thompson, as Mason's trying to hang on to 5th position. Thompson trying to find a way around the outside for that 5th spot. By the time they get down into Luffield, it's exactly what's happened. So that is the number 6 of Thompson in the black and red car, ahead now of Martin Mason in the red Coca-Cola car. And of course they've also got Warner as well in tow in that number 51 car directly behind, and Stuart Warner might have an opportunity to potentially do so if they're so focused on each other, might be able to find a route and a passageway through. Barrington Darcy, I'm sure that'll be pretty comforting, getting through Copse for what will be the last time in the race this time by, and a corner which has caused him a couple of issues so far in the day. Well, through the final corner, it's been a dominant performance from Bertie Bream after qualifying a few positions down. I think it was 4th position. Bertie Bream was starting this one in that number 8 car behind Brendan Hafner, behind Max Watt, behind Matt Goff as well. But it is going to be the victory in the first race of the season here, as it will be Bream across the line to take victory, miles clear of everyone else. But the Porsche Club Motorsport Boxster Cup round number 1 of the season goes to Bertie Bream. It'll be Perry Darling across the line in 2nd position and Barrington Darcy in 3rd. Then it will be Max Watt in 4th position, but who's going to be coming across the line in 5th? That's the big question. At the moment, it does seem as though Mike Thompson is going to be that driver. Martin Mason couldn't quite do it, couldn't quite find a route through, as the battle behind as well sees Stuart Warner under pressure from Graham Hurd at the moment, as the 51 just about going to be able to hang on. There's going to be a bit of a drag race up towards the line. But it will indeed be that silver and orange car rather of Stuart Warner in the 51, hanging on by 0.3 of a second over Hurd. That was actually quite nice. Goff, of course, from pole position. I mean, a long wait for them, but I believe has crossed the line already. A lap. No, it's still going. Oh no, they were a lap down. My goodness. No, I'll have to get down. Now the timings are there. Okay, cool. That scared me a little bit. I thought that Goff had gone a lap down after starting so strongly with the pole position, but then one moment and you're dropping right the way down. There's Bream, your race leader though, doing an extra victory lap because why not? Bream ahead of Darling, ahead of Darcy, ahead of Watt, ahead of Thompson, and of course with likes of Goff being down the order in 9th spot after starting this one all the way up from pole position for Matt Goff. That'll be a little bit annoying. I think one final driver there waiting to cross the line is the number 7 of Paul Andrew at the moment in 13th position. A few moments and a couple of issues for a few drivers. Faye Noble Evans, of course, back into the pits. We had the 96 of Charlie Dye as well having a bit of a moment, and Hafner as well. Let's take a look then at the provisional race results. 20 seconds clear is Bertie Bream ahead of the rest of the field. Absolutely crazy. Then we get Perry Darling and Barrington Darcy in 3rd position, before we get Watt, then Thompson, Mason, Warner, Hurd, Goff and Shears, the top 10 from the first race of the 2025 season. Of course, no shock to see Bream being the one to set the fastest lap of the race in all that. Behind that would be Ben Grucock, who actually did work up to 11th position in that race, which is actually kind of impressive, all things considered, with the hit on the barrier from Ben Grucock. To work his way back up into 11th position, was nearly battling to get inside the top 10 as well. Unable to do so, with Nolan there in 12th position. And then I think Andrew did actually come into the pits on the final lap of the race. Finishing a lap down was Bridges, Horvath. Then it was the number 71 there, of Simon Dye, also finishing a lap down. Then Levy and Hussey, who both finish 1 lap down. And of course, Hafner, Charlie Dye and Faye Noble Evans being the effective retirements from the opening race of the season. There's confirmation of those that I was talking about. You can see the drivers finishing a lap down. You can see Hafner there. You can see Charlie Dye being the retirement. Faye Noble Evans will be on the final page as also a retirement from the race. Bit of a shame, but it is what it is. I think there's a lot to talk about for the second race of the day, which will be coming up in quite a bit. We've got a long old wait until we see these Boxsters back out. It'll be about 4:30 when we'll see them out. It's currently slated to be 16:25 when we'll see the return of the Porsche Boxster Cup. Will there be any big moments for Ben Grucock to work his way back up the order? Will Bream dominate again? We'll have to wait and see. We'll see you there at about 4:30. Bye-bye.